In this video, I'll show you how to build one of my basic trash kabooms. It's made from used plastic bottles, 1.5, 1.75, 2 liters, used tires, specifically 12-inch tires because they fit the best, a little PCV pipe and some rope, and you can stop all the trash coming out of the rivers and canals and help save our marine life and preserve the future for our children. They're not the easiest to clean. We're still working on that one. But here's the basic video on how to build one. I hope you enjoy it and get out there and make one yourselves. It's still Kaboom Construction 101. First thing to do, of course, is to get the label off the bottle. Strip the label off and make sure you got the air equalized and it's nice and full. Tighten it down good and tight. And then just squeeze it for a second. You can tell if you got a leak, it'll squash down. So that's good and snug. I'm going to show you how to stuff the tires properly. 1.5 liters to 1.75, even 2 liters on some of them. And then I'll show you a problem tire here too. Sometimes if you got a narrow rim, it's not much to work with. There's a few tricks you can do to get the bottles in there. This one here is easy picking, had a nice wide rim. So we'll go ahead and show you how to do this one here. One in here, butt that way, make sure, give it a squeeze test. Butt that way. Don't forget the ones on the sides here too. Stick one on that side. Stick one over on this side. Usually I do it opposite ways, it doesn't really matter. The main thing is those two are like that. There's one like that. Now we've got some of these bigger ones. It's great if you can get them in there. This tire we can't. We're going to go ahead and get this big one in there. And then we want one more 1.5. We normally only have one of the 2 liters in there at a time. 1.5 going the opposite way. Just like so. You got your 2 on the sides. You got 2 with their butts that way. 2 with their butts that way. And you make sure you got room for the tie. And that's it. And then when you crimp these babies down, oh, they creep and groan. But when that rope's tight on there, it locks them all in. I saved this one from becoming a planter. But the rim's very tight. You can't get it in there. So you got to get your foot in there. And it will stretch up. And you just lift it up. And it's still tight. You can come in, it's like so. And that's how you get those in. A little foot action. Quick construction note. Now and then you get these long ones. They're nice and big, but they don't have no Coca-Cola bottom on them. These are best for being pinched right about where the Coca-Cola part is. These are better to slip into the side if you have them. Just one note. That's why that guy's there. Okay, I'm going to show you how to tie these guys together. Just make sure your bottle's got an in and an out. So you got a gap right there. Make sure it's gapped right there. If you got a bad spot on the tire, make sure it's butted up against another one so it doesn't scrape you up too bad. And that's about it. We're going to go 3 strands. 3 strands. Anything over 3 gets really hard to get them all tight. So we're going to go with the 3 right here. You notice we got 6 bottles, 2 on the outside and 4 in the middle. The butts are here, the butts are here. Side ones don't matter quite as much. And then when you crinch it down, you'll hear the bottles crinkling, and they will tighten them down so tight the bottles cannot come out. They won't come out. We'll go ahead and tie this one up so you can see here. And make sure the knot's clear at the bottom down here. Going to be pulling it up around the top. Pick up the slack if you can. Right about there. Okay. Make sure the ropes are lined up. And it's time to pull. You hear the bottles moaning and groaning. Make sure they're lined up where you want it. Okay, there's muscle in it. Pull that knot all the way over the top. They will all tighten up here in a minute here. I want just enough where you Got a nice tight pitch. You could go farther, but you don't want to squish the bottles too much. And then just tie it off. Simple knots. I had more complex knot before, but this is faster. I can whip one of these together really quick. Make sure the knot don't slip, and that's it. She's tight as can be. Get another one on it, and then I usually zip tie the ends off so it doesn't come loose. And that's all she wrote. As you can see, the tires are really squished right there and there. That's where the butts are. These babies are not coming out of there, even if they get flipped sideways. PCV pipe through. I'll show you real quick what's going on. Stand up right about there. My Makita drill from the United States, very old but very strong. We already got the first screw drilled on that side. The hole's got to go really close to the tips of each of the 1 1/4 bottles. So stick your fingers in there. The next one goes right about there. And punch the hole. And pull the piece out, because if you do 2 in a row, it's not going to work. You get right up close to the tip of that bottle. You want it as far apart as you can. You'll see why in a second here. Right there. Thicker here. Okay, now there she goes. We're getting close now. Another one through the other side. The PCV pipe should be right tight up against the bottles. Well, the only thing is, don't pull it so tight that you kink it. If you kink it, you can't get the rope through, so we leave a bunch of slack on it. And that's what it should look like to start with. And got Gary working in the background, cranking this baby out today. Do not pull it tight until you get the rope in. Once you pull it tight, it binds on the rope, you'll never get the rope through. Make sure the ends are evened up. Pretty close on evening the ends. Then you can start cinching it in a little bit at a time. Making sure you're keeping it even at the tips. There we go, that's pretty close. And I usually go and bounce it here a little bit. Get it up as tight as you can. That's about what she looks like when she's done, right there. Take a 2-inch piece, slip over the end. It's perfect for the 2 3/4. And that's what it should look like when it's all done. So you can terminate it with that. Nothing's touching the concrete except the tire. Then you put your rest of the bottles in. When it's done, it will look just like this. And if you did it right, there's hardly any gap at all in there. And that's about the best way to terminate this I found yet. So I'll show you a little video on our King Kaboom install that we did. I had a little extra manpower. I had no bring his truck over. Some of those sections were 6 tires, but most were 5. We got it lined up. You can see us installing the mesh skirt on it. And we tied it with little strands of rope on there and weighted it with coral. And you can find the coral on the beach pretty easily. It's free, it's cheaper than the chain, and it's easy to drill the holes in. And here we are launching it. And it was a beast, 52 tires. I'm going to do another video on this install of the King one day. In fact, on each one of them. And yeah, that's our Bobby out in the middle. This is the first time we met him. This was his baby for a long time. Teamwork. And we run it at a 45-degree angle, so most of the trash stays over in the one side. It's easier to clean, or so I thought. So those are 250 kilogram anchor bolts, concrete anchor bolts holding that side. And that was the first night's catch. Didn't do too bad. But here it is, almost 2 years later, and it's still hanging in there and doing a heck of a job. So